It's time!
All right, we're back. Another episode of the Reverse Mush podcast. No Wednesday release this week. Sorry, everybody. That's on us. Hand up. But Harry, Mac, and Ross here as always. Ross, how are we?
I'm good, man. You know, I'm currently sitting here watching the Phillies beat up on the Mets. We're just going to pretend the past 2 days didn't happen. We're just going to talk about what's happening right now.
Exactly.
And no, I'm
Yesterday
good, man.
was gross.
Yeah, classic Phillies. Bullpen blows it. We're
It was classic Mets and classic Phillies. DeGrom getting pulled in the second. Then the offense decides to show up. But we digress. This isn't a baseball podcast. This is an MMA podcast.
This is an MMA podcast, and boy, do we have a great fight card coming up this weekend.
Absolutely. We'll be sure to touch on that after the interview. So make sure you stay tuned for some winners as always. But as I just said, we got an interview this week, boys, because the boys are hot. The guest this week brought the juice.
Yeah.
John Beneduce, the Manimal. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. But our man John brought the fucking juice, and I love it for one. I absolutely love it.
It was something. It was something
character.
else. It was awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong. Absolutely awesome.
I don't usually recommend that our listeners watch the video portion of our podcast.
I think you have to.
That we post on the bookiesbasement.com, but I'm gonna call this one. You got to watch this one because the look on Ross and I's faces, and you're gonna hear it. But John just smoked weed the whole interview, which is cool. That's cool. We like weed. Weed's tight. Weed's very tight. But the look on our faces when he just packed the first bowl and sparked it up mid-conversation is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Well, I'm sure we'll tweet it out too. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Harry__Mac, at Ross_Bullet, at Bookie's Basement, and
but yeah, honestly, I think we just got to send it to the interview. I'm cracking up just thinking about it. When we finished, I'm like, that was fucking electric.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just so fucking funny. So everyone enjoy this one. It's definitely different than the others. So I think you guys are going to like it.
Definitely. It's a nice change of pace. Enjoy, everybody. Hey, welcome back to the Reverse Mush podcast. Harry Mack here as always with my co-host Ross. We got a special guest joining us this week, John the Manimal Beneduce. John, how we doing?
Oh, yeah, we're out here. You know, it's getting a little too easy to do a podcast like from home. But of course, I'm high as a kite. How you guys doing?
Also high as a kite, and
same most of the time.
Glad you're here with us. So this is gonna be a fun one. I could already tell right off the rip.
Definitely, yes. Thank you for joining us, man.
You training anything?
No, we've both been looking to get into it. I'm rehabbing a double hip surgery right now. So I've made a few promises to a few different fighters and to Ray and a few other guys that just as soon as the hips are healed up, I'll be in the gym getting put in a pretzel.
Double hips? Would you get hurt fucking?
Honestly, it might be because the doctors have no idea. So you know what? That's the best medical diagnosis I've gotten yet.
You're talking to
say that your technique might have been off.
Maybe.
You're talking to a guy whose shoulder, I think, like went into shatters when we were in college from doing that. So
that did happen. I did break my shoulder having sex.
Oh, so you have a history of this?
Yeah,
it's true. It's not untrue.
I follow history more closely than modern science. So history would tell you hurt yourself fucking. You did it before. You probably did it again.
That's a fair assertion. I don't have any evidence to make an argument, so I might just have to take it at face value for now.
Definitely, if it's not true, it should be.
Yeah, at this point, it's true.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'll start telling people when they ask. It's more fun than I don't know, that's for sure. But I guess we should address the elephant in the room first. We first made our connection because we unfortunately are I'm going to blame it on the intern. Our intern who made our Serra fight team graphic made a little omission, and so someone didn't make the graphic.
It's not just me. It wasn't just me, but
there were a few.
It wasn't just me you left out. I think you left out Dylan. You left out some good fighters in there. Hold on, I'm gonna look.
Please tell us what we got wrong.
We can always make some nice additions.
I'm going to tell you the main problem there. I love Steve Lee. Me and Steve Lee are good friends. How the fuck did he get billing over me? He's an amateur fighter. I'm a pro. I fought in fucking Bellator. What the fuck?
Steve got put in for his corner work. He's a glue guy.
That's what my manager said.
He's a glue guy.
He was like, I think Steve Lee got put in for his recent cornering, since he was like the only guy traveling with coronavirus.
Right. Well, see, we have stupid brains, so a lot of the fighters that we've been lucky enough to talk to happen to have been cornered by Steve Lee in their recent fights. So I think he just weaseled his way in there.
Dylan's missing, Kid's missing. I mean, listen, there's some fighters missing. So the pros, that's what I was thinking. But whatever. It was funny. It was more funny to myself that I instantly took offense. I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of MMA. But everywhere I go, you got to ask Ray about it. We're at my fight. Anywhere you take me, I'm getting my balls busted. But my fight at Madison Square Garden in Bellator, we go to check in. So, all the fighters have to check in through, like, the employee entrance. And they line you up in the order that you're fighting. So whoever the fuck's in front of me, Aaron Pico, I think it is. And they're like, oh, what fighter are you, right? The security's checking them in. Yeah, Aaron Pico, all right, 24-year-old kid. They look at me, and they're like, who's your fighter? I was like, what do you mean? I'm the fucking fighter. And Ray's cracking up because he's right behind me. You're in the order that you are going to fight. So it's like your corner man, right? Then your opponent. So Ray's dying. He's like, and he's like, no, Pops, for real. I'm like, oh, you fuck, cocksucker. Like, really? Right now? Really? So I'm like having an existential crisis there. And Ray turns to my opponent because he's in back of Ray. He's like, you fucking see this shit? If this doesn't inspire you, nothing will. You think this guy's fights? I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, even...
the most disrespected.
Yeah, when I seen that, I was like, oh, fuck, just put that shit on the list. I'm like, just put that on top of the list.
I'll be honest with you. I'm still trying to figure out how we have an intern. So we can just put all blame on intern number one.
Does your intern have a name?
Yes.
Danny.
Danny.
He's good folk. He's a good guy. I don't give him a ton of direction. I just kind of tell him what I would like, and then he sends it over to me. Nobody has called it out yet.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to have to thank you guys, though. That shit made me hit the gym. I was like, fuck these kids. I was just like, these fucking kids. I was like, I'm old enough to be their father. I'm going to beat the shit out of all of them, which didn't exactly happen, but it will next time I actually have to perform in front of audience, even if it's only the ref.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, hopefully an audience.
If it makes you feel any better, we opened up with Ray with me telling him that our parents were in diapers when Ray started training MMA. So he didn't love that one.
Hey, how old are you kids? You said you guys are young.
24. We're about 24.
You had to think about that one.
Yeah. I was just making sure we were the same age for a sec, but
yeah.
24?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to college together.
39, I'm going to be 40.
It's not too far off. Not quite our parents.
Definitely, Not there.
But Bazooka's 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he came on and made us feel real shitty about ourselves for being much more accomplished than we are and being 3 years younger.
A great fight on Contender Series, too.
He did. That was a war. That was a war.
Is a straight-up fucking killer.
Like, yeah, and that dude's like, what, 28, right? 28, 29?
29, I think he was.
I don't think it's anything to age. That guy's just a freaking killer. Like,
yeah, but, he's a grown-ass man. Dennis was telling us, he's every weight cut is harder because he's still growing.
His left hand, the guy he fought, and Bazooka weathered it, and then Bazooka looked great in that fight. The second round, he dominated.
Yep.
He went for that beautiful Kimura to the arm.
That was awesome.
Which was very nice. I tried that today, but I'm a little thick right now, so I'm not moving like 145 or that. I'm moving more like a 245 in a 145 his body.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that Dennis didn't try and go to the BJJ a little more in that fight. Didn't try and take it to the ground a little more often in that fight, because it felt like every time it went to the ground, it seemed like that was where he had the big advantage for sure.
I think that first round.
He's Bazooka's really billed more as a striker, but his ground game's good. His wrestling, he was working the fuck out of it for this fight, and it really showed. So, I mean, I thought it was a great fight as a fan.
Absolutely.
And shit, and of course, they have a joke about me. I always favor my team no matter what.
Of course.
Well, I gave Bazooka that fight because he won the second round, and the third round he went for the armbar and it was close, so he was close to finishing the fight. Then the other guy was in the third round, so then I have to give him the third round. So I give Bazooka that fight.
So
I think that's fair.
Yeah, Harry and myself, like, we were watching that together, I guess, but really just over fucking Zoom because that's all you can do now.
The way of the world.
But
fuck that! I'm a rebel. I told you I got to be careful because I like to get close.
Yeah, well, Harry's in New York. I'm in Philly, so couldn't be together.
I'm
in Glen Cove, so I'm out here on the island.
Well, you're close.
Yeah, not too far.
I got a couple clients in Huntington.
Oh, there you go.
What are you doing these days? What's your outside of fighting job?
My regular gig, I am a personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach. Listen, I have a few private clients, and that's about all I need. You know, if you don't make a big shit, you don't need a big shit.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to support a massive amount of things, you can really streamline your life in such a way that you can do just the right amount of work. I'm big into being like Goldilocks out here. Yeah.
Work smarter, not harder.
Can I do it just right? Just right. I may have to go hard, but I might only have to go 80%. And usually you probably have to go not even to get good effect. And when you go too hard, you're all over the place. And you see that fighting all the time. Listen, you listen to Justin Gaethje's corner, his last fight, he looked really good. They were like, bro, take 10% off.
Turn it down. I said to somebody when we were watching that fight, I was like, I think that's the first time I've ever heard a corner tell a fighter in a championship fight, hey, man, you got to just tone it down a little bit. But, yeah, because Gaethje was just throwing haymakers and going to end the fight with every shot. And once he made that adjustment, I mean, talk about another awesome fight. But Gaethje pieced Tony. He pieced him up in that fight.
That was dominant. Absolutely.
Once you slow down just a little bit, then you could be more accurate.
Right. He started finding the body. Yeah, absolutely. But I saw that you're technically a colleague of ours. You have a podcast of your own.
Yeah, so I was telling you, we used to have a podcast that we were like 112 episodes in. That was decent. But that fell apart for whatever reasons. Whatever. Right.
It happens.
You know what? The gods just were like, it's too easy for you, Manimal.
Was it like the Beatles? Was there like a Yoko Ono involved?
More like a fucking bozo Ono, but whatever.
Oh my God. Oh, unreal.
I need that one just for Ray. Yoko Ono. Fucking not Ray though. Ray's the best. So what you call? So now I'm 11 episodes into the Manimal Zone. My co-host, Carrie Steller, she does In the Girls Corner. So that's been fun. But, I'm trying to find my groove. I might actually, I'm trying to get a little studio space so I can make it look pro. I don't like to half-ass things, and right now I'm half-assing it.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, I think we are the definition of kind of half-assing.
Yeah, we make it all up as we go along.
We tried it. It's supposed to be like a full ass, but it just... Yeah,
half-assing is the wrong word. We put a lot of effort into it. It's more just that we make it up as we go along. But I do know, I just, the people, I just moved recently, and the people who bought my old house are apparently planning to build a recording studio for a Ukrainian rock band that they manage in the basement. So I think I'm going to try and weasel my way into some studio space there myself.
I like that, yeah.
Ukrainian rock band. That's something.
I got to take whatever I can get, man.
I got a funny story. Recent. I got a recent one.
Do share.
I'm looking at studio space, right? And I see an ad for a studio, and it's like a basement studio, like you're saying the Ukrainian rock band wants to do. So the lady's like an older lady. It's in her house, but she cut up the basement into studio space. I'm not going to say her address, even though she...
Yeah, we're not big on doxing around here. We do it by accident sometimes, but we try to stay away from that.
So I'm ready to rent this spot. I was like, okay, this is good for what I need. And me and my co-host go. And she's like, oh, it's just going to be a 2 year. I was like, yeah, you know. And then when we were going to sign the lease, we were like, you know, we bring guests. She was like, just the 2 year. I was like, well, you know, we bring guests. We have a podcast that we do, like a radio show, try to explain it to her. She's like, oh, okay. Boom, hand everything over. Then she texted, she's like, you know what, I was thinking about it. She was like, I think due to COVID-19, I'm worried about too many people coming in and out. I don't think I want to rent it. I'm not going to, like, take your payment. I'm like, damn, that fucking COVID-19 shit is like the built-in excuse to say anything, to do anything you want. It's like, oh, you know what? This motherfucker looks wild. Oh, because she had a pool. That's what I think threw her off. So she has a dope pool in her backyard. I was like, oh shit, does that come with the rental? She's like, no, don't use it.
Do not step foot in my home.
Like, don't use my pool. No, she's pretty much like, no, it's like off limits, you know, for insurance purposes. I was like, I carry my own insurance. I'm good. You know, the coach. I'm like, I think that shit.
That's fucking
like, the coach, don't worry, I carry my own insurance. If I fuck myself up, I pay myself. You're good.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I'm coming. Okay.
Oh, man.
You don't have to worry about me. I'll take care of myself.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you're already there, you came, you checked it out and everything, I
get naked by the pool. I don't know if that threw her off. You know, she was like...
You got a call from the neighbors.
The neighbors were hanging out. We were chilling.
Oh, there you go. Making friends.
I don't think she liked it, though.
Yeah, she was definitely getting the vibes that, all right, this guy's going to come in here with a ton of fucking guests, get fucked up by my pool, just drop trout.
Yeah, this guy's going to come smoke weed and swing a mace around my studio. No, thank you.
The mace is fun.
I wanted to ask you, how did you start incorporating the medieval weapons into workout routines? Because, boy, it's awesome. It's awesome. I just bought a tomahawk myself that I can smoke weed out of. It comes tomorrow. I'm super excited.
Hold on. I got married at the fucking Renaissance Fair. My wife has a master's in medieval history. I went for my master's in history also, but I also have a degree in forensic psychology. I used to work at a criminal insane unit. So how did I decide to do that? I'm going to tell you this. When you were born, I used to make a fitness product that was like the mace times 10. But it was even, the mace is new to most people. I was 10 years ahead of where the hell I am now. You know, sometimes when you're too far ahead, you're in the middle of nowhere by yourself. So it's not
all about timing.
Yeah. So I went back a decade or two so that when I feel like it, I can put that in again. Yeah. But yeah, I've been doing the medieval weapon stuff. I mean, I just love that shit. First of all, it looks badass, and then it's very useful in mace. Mace, clubs. I like the barbell, too. Oh, I used to compete in strongman. That was fun. I ran a CrossFit gym for like 5 years. And we used to do a lot of powerlifting, a lot of strongman. We had the stones. That shit was fucking great. Great for strength and conditioning for MMA.
Yeah, I can see it.
All the strongman exercises, that stuff has probably the best correlation to mixed martial arts and wrestling fitness. Because you're doing sled push, yoke carries, stones is pretty much like body locks all day. Just heavy carries, grip strength. So I think that's probably one of the more underutilized methods of training for fighters. Like to throw the stones around, that's probably one of the best things you could do.
Were you into this medieval stuff before you started before fighting? Is that what?
Oh, so I was like a fat nerd first. So, I was like 265 pounds. I'm 5'5". Right now, I fight at 145.
A unit.
It's a compact frame.
So I was fat as shit. And I just like to smoke weed, play Dungeons and Dragons. And that's about it. Yeah, I was like a fat party kid. And I didn't start training martial arts until I was like 20.
Do you think like because you loved like doing the shit you were doing with the medieval stuff, was that what got you to like, do you think that's what pushed you to start martial arts?
Listen, I'm from Brooklyn, so I was no stranger to getting into a scrap or two.
Right.
Right, like I was no stranger to getting into fights. But nothing like I never trained. I'm not an athlete. Even now, it's tough. Like training for me is a big deal. It's not natural for me to be in the gym. If you think about it, if I'm 40, I didn't start training until I'm 20, you got half a lifetime of being a fat ass and half a lifetime of being like a hard ass.
Yeah, it's a crazy flip.
And in that time, I probably had 5 years off. I had a 10-year gap in my fight life.
Mm-hmm.
So I had hurt this shoulder and had that reconstructed twice, not replaced. The bicep reattached. So that fucking took forever. Where the fuck was I? What were we talking
about? We were talking about what got you into MMA, I think.
Oh, so
we get derailed very easily. Don't worry about
it.
We all smoke a lot of weed. It happens.
I always liked MMA. I watched the first UFC when it came out, and I was like, oh, I like this shit. I was like, fucking that Royce Gracie shit. I was like, I want to do that. I was like, and I always liked to grapple anyway. Because in a street fight, I would always throw 1 or 2 punches, and then I love to wrestle, get on top. I love to do what I do now, just not as good as I do now. Do the same shit. It just makes sense. Because gravity works in your favor. If I'm on top, you can't hit me that much. I like to be on bottom, too. I actually have a good guard game. So motherfuckers better watch out.
Of course. So I wanted to ask you, I saw that I'm ready to declare you the holder of the record for the longest time between wins in professional MMA history.
My God, 15 years, right?
I've never seen anything like that before. I think I'm ready to make up that record and declare you the holder of it. But so what does it feel like to come back after 15 years and 30-26, 30-27, 30-27, dominate a guy like that? I mean, I can't imagine how incredible that must have felt.
And that dude was good, too.
Yeah, no, that's no can.
No, talk about, I don't know if I'm stupid. Crazy. You know, it's funny. I've never seen it, but I told this, hold on. I'm going to announce it now. When I told this story, I was in doing the mace cert, steel mace cert. In Texas, and this documentary filmmaker was like, yo, I got to make a story about that. He's like, how do you fucking do that? He's like, how? He was like, well, how does that even happen? He's like, the fuck? He's like, that's so weird. He's like, just to get to that point, he's like, shouldn't you have been like doing like, old and a cane and like, but yeah, 38, 39, I'm fighting again. I feel fucking good now, which is crazy. I think I'm a late bloomer.
Well, yeah, and you don't have a ton of mileage on you fight-wise. It's not like you could.
I have the experience of a veteran without the mileage on my body.
Right. So that could work as a perfect fucking combo.
Because I've trained, but remember, I also had a lot of fights not go through. In the early days, that shit would happen, and then plus, you gotta remember, what we called amateur fights were rugged affairs in all kinds of weird mannerisms.
Mm. Yeah, back in New York, it was illegal back in the day.
Even I have a no contest that's not on there. We fucking had a rain out. It was like a fight outside. We had a rain out at some stadium in Atlantic City.
Wow.
It rained out right as they're fighting. So there's stuff that's not even on it. Like back in New York especially, it was really rugged. But I had, you'll see some old fights I had. They're like in a gym. One dude's wearing MMA gloves. I had fucking boxing gloves on. what the hell were we doing? We don't know, but we were beating the shit out of each other. So there was all kinds of weird stuff like that you can't account for either. But yeah, I think that 10 years off, doing other stuff, I think it helped. I think the gods had a plan.
There you go.
The gods of war dusted me off, brought me back for some fucking reason. I definitely feel good. I tell you what, I'm giving these kids a run for their money. Ask them.
There you go. I saw you call out AJ. I'm gonna butcher his last name.
I'm saying the kids I train with. Don't forget, I'm training with those killers all the time.
That's true.
Maybe not as much as they're training, because I just would be silly. You know, I have to know my own body too. But when I get in the gym, that's who I'm getting in the gym with.
And did you like during that break? Were you at the end of the day? Was your plan? I'm going to get back in there and fight again? Or is that something that came late and you were like, fuck it, you know what? I'm down to scrap again.
That's why this guy really liked the story, because I thought I was totally done. So I hurt my shoulder. By the time I felt good again, I was already coaching a ton, doing a lot of strength and conditioning. I opened up a gym. It was super popping. I hit the peak years of that CrossFit trend from like 2012 to 2017. And
CrossFit was hot in the streets.
What?
CrossFit was hot in the streets then. I feel like it was the big workout fad.
Gyms in New York.
There you go.
And then I ran into a couple financial problems. I don't want to talk about the issues I ran into legally, but I had a couple issues that fucking left me bankrupt. And then I had like nothing, and I was like, shit, I need to just train again, because I had got a little depressed. I was heavy. I got back up to like 207, and I just went back to Serra's. I'm a Serra Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So, but I hadn't really been training that much for like 5 years. You know, wow. The surgery, and I started training back, and I felt like shit. Dude, I'm throwing up, and everyone's like, damn, and I'm like, fuck, I'm a black belt, and I'm fucking looking like shit out here. So, but I trained for like 6 months, and I just started feeling good. Like I had way less. I had a couple privates, kind of like what I do now, and I was able to train. And I started feeling pretty good. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to spar again. And you kids are too young to know my boy. But I had a training partner, this guy James Gabbert, who had fought all over the place. He was, you know, fought in combat back in the day. And we used to fight back in the day together and train. Right? You're talking about 2007. Right? You've seen how long my gap is. And, you know, that ring of combat fight that I lost, my last one before that, whatever, it was close. I should have won that fight, but I had to take a shit.
So it goes.
I had to drop a massive deuce. I had to drink one butt in that fight.
I've never had it
together, and I thought I won that fight. I thought if the judges knew what I was going through, they would have definitely given me the victory.
Oh yeah, it's like fighting with like a torn ACL. It's like picking up an injury during a fight.
Yeah, and just rugging it and just gutting it out. Yeah.
Hey, fucking excuse me, judges. I have a turtle head pop. I have a turtle head popping out. Can you give me some fucking slack here? Take a point from this guy.
Oh, so I told my boy James, I was like, listen, I know I'm gonna suck. I was like, but I trust you. Let me spar one of your kids. He was a Muay Thai coach. I was like, let me spar one of your kids. Let's do like 3 2s and let's see how it looks. And it didn't look good. I fucking got my nose busted, fucking bleeding everywhere. I'm like, oh God. I'm gassing in 2-minute rounds. I'm like, fuck. I tell this kid, I'm like, yo. I'm like, I know right now you think I suck. I was like, but in 6 months, I'm going to be whipping your ass. And I wouldn't say in 6 months I was whipping his ass, but then I was like, oh, you know, I actually feel pretty good. And I tell my partner, I have a partner for a training camp I do. I was like, yo, I kind of want to get a fight in. I was like, see if you can get me something. And he comes back and he's like, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, what? He's like, they need a short notice fighter for a Bellator at 155, which I always fought at 55 because none of the lower weight classes existed when I stopped fighting before. So
right. I think people forget that like 145 is still a relatively new weight class.
Dude, there was no one. okay, I can't say I'm the first guy, but I'm one of the first guys on the East Coast to, instead of doing a weird catch weight like 160, was like, yo, Jens Pulver fights at 55. They made a 55-pound title. Let's just do 55. And that was, and that was new. That was a new weight class. That was like 2005.
Wow.
A pioneer.
So now 45, really, I think about it now, when I was a kid, I would have been a 35-pound fighter. Because we didn't cut that much. 55. I remember walking around at 162.
Right. And I mean, at 5'5", I feel like you got some guys at 55 fighting at like 6 feet who cut all the way down.
So, bro, so my first fight back at Bellator, I fight like a contender. I fight this kid who's like wrestled since he's 6 years old. He's like fucking 5'10". He got to be a $182 at the fight. I'm 162, at the fight. And fuck, bro, let me tell you, I take him down like the first 10 seconds. And I was like, oh. I was like, Manimal, you're so good. I was like, you were worried. I was like 10 years on the shelf. Who gives a shit? It's like that. But I had done some jiu-jitsu tournaments and won those, in between. So I had some, like, but I hadn't competed at all. The last competition I had done at anything was 2015 in Grappler's Quest before that fight. So, bro, I'm all over this guy. Now, he throws a kick at me on the feet, breaks my elbow, but I time the kick. I take him down. Boom. Now I'm on top, and I'm like, I was like, oh, this is great. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to win this fight.
Shaking the cobwebs off with some grounded pounds.
Yeah. So, and I'm on top for like a good minute, but I should have took my time and controlled him. I'd been out for a long time. I lost my composure. Then he scrambles back up, and then he wanted nothing to do with me on the ground. And he catches me with an uppercut, cuts me in the top of the eyelid. I actually had good technique in that fight. I'll tell you what, if I was a little more patient, 8 out of 10 times I win that fight. But I'm not supposed to win that fight. So then I dropped to Bellator. I was like, listen, you could tell I was small for that. They were like, we'll give you another fight at 45, competitive enough. All right. And it took me forever to get there to my next fight. So for like 20 months, I was just training full time because I was supposed to fight in October at Nassau Coliseum. Then I'm fucking supposed to fight Mohegan Sun February of 2019.
Okay.
The day before my fight, the guy pulls out. I'm already made weight. So then that was a scrap. That was a nothing. And then I was going to fight on a different show because I was like, I just want to fight at this point. I'm like just dying to fight. Like I've been training so long. And I signed to fight for a show in Pennsylvania, Maverick. And I was training for like 2 weeks. And then Bellator was like, yo, we need a fight, a 45er for this fight at the Garden. And if I hadn't had such a lag time, I would have never fought at the Garden. I would have been way retired.
There you go. It's not a bad way to break a 15-year winless streak at Madison Square Garden. Not a bad way at all.
No, I was saving that up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Waiting for the chance.
Just charging up for all those years.
I was generating my energy. And I feel good in training now, too. Like, I can definitely tell the difference in myself, in my training for that first one back, and in my training now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that shit. I mean, listen, there's, of course, considerations. I'm not a lifelong athlete either, so I got to understand that I'm not going to be the guy that's doing another round and another round. That's how I hurt myself to begin with. Fucking guys are like, let's do another round. Dude, I did 9 rounds already. 9 fives. How many more?
This isn't fucking boxing.
These are 5s. I remember when I hurt my shoulder, dude, hold on, I'll give you it. When I hurt my shoulder, I was training to fight Joe Lazone.
Oh, wow.
Mass destruction. And the winner of that fight, Dana White was there, got the fight with Jens Pulver. So, whatever. So, I'm like 3 weeks out from that fight, and I did like 9 5-minute rounds. Hard. And I'm just sitting on the wall. One of my training partners is like, yo, let's do one more round. I was like, bro, I'm good. I was like, I got a whole fucking week to go. It was a Sunday. I was like, yeah, I'm good, bro. He's like, no, let's do another round. Come on. I was like, no, I'm good. He's like, come on, you got to fight. You know, it was kid's tough. I was like, I know. And I'm like, he's like, let's just do a 3-minute round. I'm like, all right, fine. Fucking rip my shoulder out. That shit sent me away. But, you know, it's invaluable, all the lessons I learned doing all the other things in that 10 years.
You ever let that training partner live that down?
We don't talk about him. I just seen him the other day.
It's just that thing we don't talk about?
We don't talk about it, yeah. Because it's just, listen, sometimes it happens in training. You don't want to give a guy shit about that because you don't want to hurt someone. It's not like you did it intentionally.
Right. It's the nature of the game. It happens.
So you don't want to be hard on a guy because I believe in karma. I don't want to bust his balls. And I wind up hurting someone. And, you know, no one wants to hurt their training partner.
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't feel good about it. Yeah.
It's not like it was an enemy opponent. That was like a guy that I train with all the time. And he has 2 UFC fighters now. He runs a gym.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, there you go.
So he had a gym in the island. But, yeah, I just ran into him the other day. But it's funny. But we trained after that. I mean, we were training partners for a long time. Oh, you know who I originally started with? You know Philip Nova?
Name sounds very familiar.
Kids are young, you don't remember. He was on the Ultimate Fighter in 2008. And Dana White cursed him. He was like, this kid's the next GSP, the next Anderson Silva, because he was crushing guys on the show.
He's still doing that shit.
Yeah, it's a running theme.
He's the fucking curse. Whenever he says some shit, he just curses the guy.
I hope Kiyomayev gets killed by Mearshart.
Me too.
I'm praying for it, man.
I really would love to see that hype train get derailed.
I know. He's just. I don't like when a guy completely looks past their opponent.
Yeah, I've never seen Dana be like, yeah, we're going to schedule him for a fight, and then what? 3 weeks later, we're going to schedule him for Damian Maia, who's undoubtedly a top 10 welterweight in the world. I don't know. That just feels...
Damian Maia.
What?
Dude, honestly, though, I don't know if we want to go down that slippery slope, but Dana, it's his new toy, obviously, now, but he's letting a guy that has reportedly been outspoken in support of ISIS be his new toy for the UFC, and it's just, I just hope GM.
You know what? I think about this. Where do we separate performance and politics?
It's a very interesting question.
It's a hard line to draw.
I think about that too, because I'm okay, or religious beliefs, or whatever it is. So I think about it for myself. I'm super out there, right? So I follow the old ways, right? I follow the pagan pantheon, right? So I follow the Viking god Odin very closely, but I venerate many deities. So that could be considered you'd be like, this guy's a fucking weirdo. Do I want to represent him? But it's what does that have to do with my fucking jiu-jitsu that I train all the time? For me, it has something to do with it, but there could be no correlation at all. So This guy, if ISIS, what does it have to do with his fighting? Do you want that guy representing? Do you want to give him a platform? Is he a fighter? Is that separate? Is his job separate from that? Is he a terrorist? If so, he should be in prison, right? If he's not,
that's where it's hard to. Who knows? Who knows?
Hold on. Do you remember Lee Murray?
Lee Murray.
Fucking guys.
Blowing it, dude.
Give me an old fuck out here. Hold on. Let me tell you a story. I'll give you MMA history. There was this guy, Lee Murray, great fighter, fought Anderson Silva, lost a split decision, but probably beat him. And he was a real, English gangster, right? He's robbing banks and all this shit. He winds up in $100 million scam in Morocco and gets bagged for 30 years. So, yeah, is he a Lee Murray? Is he a guy that's a
right.
crypto, a crypto mastermind out there?
But yeah, it's like, where do you draw that line? Because obviously everybody should be able to have their own views. Everybody should be able to believe what they want, do what they want, unless your views are like, I like support like beheading and killing people. But yeah,
I guess what would be, so let's think about another equivalent. What if a dude was Antifa? Could he fight?
Exactly. It's like everybody has different definitions of like what's acceptable, what's not. So yeah, it's a hard game to play where you start drawing lines because it's all arbitrary.
You had the QAnon logo, right?
Yeah, that caused a big uproar. Hey, this past weekend, Dana White, what was it? Dana White, Gagey, Cejudo, and Ali at a Trump fundraiser. So
I'm gonna tell you the most fucked up thing about that Tito Ortiz was there, I think, and he didn't get to be part of that group.
Did he really not? Isn't Tito running for office in Huntington Beach?
Huntington Beach City Council.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. If you ever want a good laugh, scroll through like Tito's, the comments on Tito's Instagram posts.
Oh, the comments? I love Tito, personally.
I find him very entertaining.
He's electric.
I always liked Tito. I liked him as a fighter back in the day, too. He's like one of the first guys to try to get fighters paid.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why Dana don't like him. He's like trying to get guys paid, which is admirable. He's the kind of guy that gets you paid more. You know, he got Chuck paid more, too, when they had fought.
Mm-hmm.
Even that third fight they had, he made Chuck $200,000.
Yeah.
That was $200,000 Chuck wasn't going to make doing anything else at this point in his life.
No, Tito knew how to sell a fight. That was for sure. I don't think anybody will ever take that away from him.
And he was the first guy I remember to like make a weight class, like really cut hard to make like 200 or 205.
Right.
He's like a 235-pound dude cutting to 205, not just fighting heavyweight. Usually that weight class was for the guy that walked around at 200. If you watch the old Japanese pride fights, the 200 underweight class, it was like, this dude's 189, this dude's 194. That means there was no weigh-in process.
Right.
There's no way. They just, what do you weigh today? All right, step on the scale. We used to have a lot of those fights that we called amateur fights like that. They just looked at you. What do you weigh? I'm about 160. Anyone else 160? You two fight.
That's wild.
I swear, go watch some of that old shit, but it was on. You don't realize how fast the technology changed. We used to have a VHS camcorder camera. It was hard to videotape shit.
Yeah, that's why it's so hard to find.
I mean, even James Gonzalez was telling us that he doesn't have a lot of his old amateur fights because it just wasn't like, and he's obviously.
And he's my junior.
Right, like he's a pretty young dude, but it's still at that point when he was coming up.
I was like, "Fuck, yo, that kid is so good." James Gonzalez, I roll with him. Gives me a tough time. I don't like it.
James is a killer, man. We've been doing everything we can to get James a fight. And you're now a friend of the program, so we'll do everything we can to get you a fight as well. That's what we do. We show for our friends.
I like to fight with AJ, especially if that would be the more time, the better for me. I'd love something, November, December. Odin says I'll probably fight before the end of the year. So the gods of war, that's what they're telling me.
There we go. We'll put it on the list. We just recently got credentialed at Bellator, so I'll make sure we ask some questions. We pitch you to some people.
Be a good fight for me, because you know what? Listen, I don't have a lot of fights. I think I got 2 great ones. So yeah, who'd be a good lineup? You got to get 2 really good fights that match up well, and AJ matches up well. It's too bad I'm not a little bigger. I'd love to fight Dylan Dennis.
Oh man, Dylan Dennis is insufferable.
170 right now, probably 180. Like what I weigh right now, without training or cutting, is what I'd be in the fight, and that's like small. It's the only problem.
That guy stinks.
Big fucking piece of shit.
Pretty much.
Hard. He's very hard.
And why does Coker?
He's like, huh?
Why is Coker so insistent on just feeding him cans? I would love to see him just get his fucking brain turned off by somebody who can actually fight. But Coker would rather just pull people off the street and toss them in there and let that.
Let's look at 2 different grapplers. Let's look at 2 different grapplers now. Case study. Neiman Gracie Okay. And,
great fight last weekend.
Okay, let's look at Neiman Gracie compared to a Dylan Dennis. Neiman comes up having to fight Ed Ruth, who's very tough.
Yep.
Rory McDonald, former champ.
Mm-hmm.
Right? John Fitch, legendary grappler.
Yeah, he just fought Fitch this past week.
Look at that ball that he had to go and just won, right? And then who's Dylan Dennis fighting? Don't get me wrong, I know Charles McCarthy is the last opponent, but that guy's a white belt.
Right. I shouldn't disrespect his opponents like that. I'm sure some of them are competent fighters, but there's levels to it, you know? There's levels to it.
He's
right. Fight. Yeah, exactly.
Think about it. The guy I fought is a good purple belt.
Right.
Why isn't Dylan Dennis fighting that guy?
Huh?
I said, like, why isn't Dylan Dennis fighting someone at least of that caliber?
At least a high purple belt who has been striking. Right? Like, that would be the equivalent. Give him the draw like a regular dude like me got even. And look at the draw Neiman got. Neiman got Murderer's Row from the
I was just going to say, it's Murderer's Row that you mentioned.
Neiman got Murderer's Row. They didn't even do him no favors.
Definitely not.
Give Dylan Dennis a fair matchup. A fair matchup.
Yeah, I'm not asking to throw him in there with a killer. I just want to see him with somebody who's an equal of his. That's all I want.
They got fair matchups.
Yeah.
The one fight that he pulled out that beautiful back triangle, that guy was a way better striker. And the last fight with Chris Sunshine, well matched. He probably a little better on the ground. Sunshine probably a little better on the feet. Well matched fight. Right, you know what I mean? I like a well-matched fight.
Exactly.
Well, we were talking about this last weekend, even on the Bellator card. We're betting men. We love the podcast is Reverse Mush. It's Bookie's Basement is the site. It's a betting.
We dabble in some gambling.
But that Bellator card on Friday night, there was only one fight on the entire card that had something less than a -200 favorite.
On which card?
On the Bellator Friday night.
The Machida card.
That was a tough card.
The Saturday card, I will give them, was much better. The matchmaking was much better. There were a lot of really great fights on that card. I will absolutely give them credit where it's due there.
The Saturday card was way better.
Archuleta Mix was the best fight of last week. Absolutely, hands down, no question.
Oh, yeah. Well, Michelle Waters and Angela Hill was really good.
That was an awesome fight.
What did you have there?
I'm still mad about Angie getting – I hate Sal D'Amato. I hate that guy a lot.
Who?
Sal D'Amato, the judge. It feels like every time there's an outrageous decision that I really strongly disagree with, it's that fucking guy. I don't know how you score 4 rounds in that fight for Michelle.
I gave it to Waterson.
A 3-2 for Waterson is fair to me, but four rounds for Michelle is insane, and that was what he scored it.
You know what the problem? I could see how it happens. Because she's just so fucking hot. You're just looking at her. So all you
karate.
And he's like, yes, you won that round. What'd you say? Fuck, she looks good. When I see, she looked good that round. Real good.
You might be on to something.
No, but I gave her 3-2.
That's fair. Close. It was a razor close fight. I personally thought Angie took 1-2-5, but I can absolutely see it going either way there. But to give Waterson 4 rounds in that fight is preposterous to me.
The issue with
that I don't know about.
Angie's issue is the last 2 fights now for her, they were decisions that some people that bet on her basically thought she won, and people that were unbiased, it was either way, 50-50. I think the issue with her at this point is she's just not doing enough to make sure. Like, you can't leave it up in the air like that if you're getting robbed of all these decisions.
I don't understand this criticism that I hear leveled against fighters, like to try to do more to win. Believe me when I tell you this, 90% of the time, I'm going to speak for 90% of fighters. Sometimes you might coach, you might have a fight you coach. But I'm going to say 90% of the time, you would like to fucking win. You don't get paid by the minute.
Right.
You don't get paid by the hour. Like, of course you would like to finish that guy. Unless you're just like a counterpoint fighter. But
that was kind of the way it seemed like she was almost fighting.
Even to that point.
Fuck her up.
Yeah, but even to that point, to the point of point fighting.
You open up. Every time you go to kill, you can get killed. And there's a fine line there. You might be trying to methodically crush her, and you win fights that way. And
she's fun to watch, and she's looked.
I don't think she wasn't trying to win.
No, and I that's not what I'm trying to say.
It looked like she was trying to win to me. She wasn't trying to lose out there.
I just think like if it's a consistent thing where she keeps leaving fights thinking she won and she's getting the only reason she's losing is because of the judges, I think.
No, it was a hotly contested contest.
Right. No, and I agree.
You this too. Waterson really is a 105er.
Yeah. I mean,
Waterson's she was the Invicta 105-pound champ. Of course, she put on some muscle now to fill out that weight class a little bit.
I've always been interested in what an atomweight division in the UFC would look like, but I guess they can't even fill out 45 right now, so that's a pipe dream.
You could fill out the smaller weights. You might have some
probably easier, right?
You bring over Japanese girls.
That's true.
I think I like the atomweight division.
It's fun. It's always fun.
That girl Rena, the Japanese girl. Who the fuck else? There's good fighters. I'm trying to think. There's Alicia Zapatella. There's like good 105-pound division in Invicta. I like the 105-pound girls. They're fun to watch. The 115-pound girls have been great. Joanna Wele.
Yeah.
That was
a fantastic fight.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Awesome.
Rose Andrade was a great fight. The second one, great. The first one was great too.
Yeah, absolutely.
For what it was. So that 115 Waterson Hill, I thought was a great fight. Those 115-pound girls just wind up being, very well skilled because they're probably the smallest percentage and having to train with dudes all day. So in order to compensate for your disadvantages, you have to have good technique. So they have great techniques. I thought Waterson looked great on the ground. It's too bad she couldn't take it down more because her ground game was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just tight. She pinned the far arm with her head positioning.
Hill was nice with the takedown defense, though. I mean, she dug hard. I think it was 11-12 defended, and it wasn't like Waterson was shooting half-assed there. Angie was digging on those the double legs to bring her back up.
I mean, yeah, she was hard to take down. That was a tough fight for her. We got good fights coming up this weekend too, I think.
Yeah, this weekend.
Definitely fun card.
What's the main event?
Woodley Colby, which probably would have been a lot more fun like 5 years ago, but I'm still excited.
Even last year would have been better.
Yeah, well, I saw something that was
before
interesting.
The Burns fight would have been
right.
better.
Well, there was something I was looking at that basically the last time, when the beef between the two of them started, and odds makers, they put out future lines and all that. I think it opened and it was like Woodley was like a -125, so like a very slight favorite. Colby a very slight underdog, and now I think Colby's like -275. Yeah, -300.
I mean, it's crazy
it's crazy how fast things can turn in MMA.
But it was, I think the original time it was scheduled, it was at least a couple years, like 3-4 years.
Yeah, what was it? I think 2017.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to look it up, but I remember that I read the same thing as you, and the last part of the tweet was like, it's crazy how things can change in a 2-year span or whatever it was.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it should be a fun one. I would think Colby dominates him, but I'd like to see Woodley.
That's what I
overhand.
Woodley just overwhelms him.
I think so.
Colby's pressure is something. It
doesn't look like he's hitting you hard, but I guess it's like trying to text in the rain.
Yeah, right.
So if you're like, oh, it's just raindrops. Fucking wipe my thing. Oh, my pants are wet now.
That's a great analogy.
Now that's a good one. I like that.
Text. What happened? It's raining. It's just water. Yeah, I know, but there's a lot of raindrops. Coming to like bang, bang. You're like, hit him. You're like, I'm trying.
Yeah, what is it? It's like it's the Chinese water torture. It's the death by 1,000 drops.
Interrupting you. You're like, the fight. I like the fight with Usman too. I had it tied 2-2.
It was so goddamn close.
Yeah, that was
so with a broken jaw. He's the man. Guys don't give him enough respect. He's the real Rodney Dangerfield of MMA.
I think Colby's problem is he's too committed to the whole shtick. You know, I think we see a lot of times, we see like the Cejudos and the Usmans and the Colbys where they just try to do this like, you know, we're talking to you and we're just having a conversation right now. We're having a conversation with a regular human being, whereas like they talk to people and it's like they're very clearly playing automatic. A character. Yeah. And it's just like,
even if
I don't know. It's hard for me to buy into it. Like I love watching all these.
I had a character. I thought it was the Manimal. Fuck.
Wait, see, but I think you're the Manimal, but I think that's genuine. I think that's just who you are. I think these guys are putting on. They're doing shtick.
Are you saying there's a difference between having character and being a character?
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. There's a difference between having a personality and playing a personality.
You know, someone asked me that once on a show. I was like, "Am I playing to?" Asked my friend. I was like, "Playing to it." I'm like, I don't think so.
I think this is me.
Right, exactly. Like you very clearly get the sense talking to you that like this, you know, this is who you are as a person, and like obviously that's awesome. Like you're outgoing, you're a fun dude. But like when guys try to do this, like this is the shtick that I'm doing and I'm sticking to it no matter what. It's like just be a regular human being. Like nobody wants to hear you like do your whole shit.
You know what? I'm gonna defend Colby Covington now. It got him fights. Otherwise,
yeah,
it did. It works. That's the problem. Is that it works.
Well, that's what Ray said does. Remember what Ray said?
Yeah, you got to be
about the Aljo. He said you got to just be a fucking idiot to get fights, or you got to be. What did he say? An idiot or a character? I forget exactly what word he used, but he basically said like you got to make a scene and be a draw, or you're not gonna get. Like we were talking about how Aljo kept like how it took so long for them to just announce the Jan fight, and he was saying how I actually didn't even think about this, but. Ray said that he was pretty sure if Frankie Edgar came in and dominated Munoz, they were going to give Edgar the fight.
Yeah, Ray made that point to us, and I haven't got it out of my brain.
Fucking bizarre.
I was so worried.
I was worried Garbrandt was going to fuck it all up. I was glad he decided to go down to flyweight and ruin that division instead. But yeah, I mean, Aljo there's not a more deserving fighter on the roster of a title shot right now than Aljamain Sterling, and that's an objective fact.
I give Aljo 10% of the credit for getting me back to fighting.
10%.
10%, yeah. Because I had trained with him like my first week back. And it was like August, and it was hot as balls. And I remember I gassed so early. Wait, let's say we're doing a 5-minute round. I was gassed in like a minute. And then after the round, I'm like throwing up outside, and he's like, "Yeah, Manimal's all right for like a minute." And I'm like, "Fuck, we're gonna suck." I was like, "I'm hard on myself, guys."
You got to be your own worst critic sometimes.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you. I think back in it, whatever. I don't even know what the fuck I was gonna say. I don't know how the universe brought me back around, but it's fun. It's definitely been fun.
Yeah, that's all that matters. At the end of the day. You're doing what you love.
I'd like to get some more sponsors, so if anyone wants at Manimal John, I should hopefully be fighting before the end of the year. If not, my podcast, The Manimal Zone. I usually just put it up on, what the fuck am I putting it up on now? SoundCloud, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we originally did. We recently got onto Apple Podcasts.
To Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, I've been learning about RSS feeds and all that fun technology stuff. It doesn't really make sense to me, but I think I'm figuring it out.
We're happy to help. We're happy to help.
Yeah, anything you need, anything we can do.
Plug the pod. And
I'm low tech. My nickname's the Manimal, not the fucking, software engineer.
Trust me, we're us versus technology is.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's basically a 5-round championship fight.
Yeah. And whenever you do something that you suck at, it takes way longer.
I know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Now, technology drags us into deep waters regularly.
Gotta buckle up and go for it.
Oh shit! All right, guys, I got a boogie.
Absolutely, we won't take up too much more of your time, but hey man, thanks. What's that?
Anything else you wanted to do before we wrapped up?
No, of course, man. Just wanted to say thank you very much for joining us.
I do my best to entertain. So
that was fun. We appreciate it. Well, I'm sure the fans
listen, Harry Mack, if you want to train, hit me up.
Absolutely. I will take you up on it.
Bring you down somewhere.
Animal
training camp. I do training camp in Huntington.
Beautiful. As soon as the surgeon gives me the okay, I'm there.
I do those half mace, do half steel mace, half kickboxing.
Beautiful. Just beat my ass. Beautiful. I love it. Well, again, thanks so much for joining us. Oh, heavens no. Come on.
A lot of steak. Yeah.
Oh, love it. Love it. Sounds like an excellent time. But thank you for joining us, man.
The boss.
Yes, sir.
Say hi, my friend.
I always will. We appreciate it, brother. You too.
Be good. All right. We're back. What a time that was. What a time that was.
What a doozy.
That was good fun. Yeah, thanks. Big thank you to John for joining us. That was great fun. We'll hopefully have another fun guest coming next week. You'll just have to tune in to find out. I've learned better than to drop names before anything is set in stone. But we got a hell of a card coming up this week, Russell.
We do, and we've been waiting for it because they've been just getting by with these cards on the weekends. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna put a card on and we'll see what happens, and we all tune in obviously because we just want violence. And
there have been some fun fights. Like last weekend's card was like one of the classic, like not good on paper, but turned out some really fun fights.
Yeah, but at the same time, they were just getting cards in. It was a build up to usually like recently with them. You don't get 2 weeks in a row of mad cards, so we're back on track now. This card is absolutely fucking loaded.
Absolutely.
Even the prelims they're going to be fun. I think me and you. I think we're going to focus more on the main card here, but I'll be watching the prelims. I think I'll be
for sure. And I'm
sure
we'll
bachelor party.
Fun. We'll tweet out some pics still. I'm sure you'll still have the old Twitter machine working.
Yeah, absolutely. The fingers are going to be pumping. Especially after an all-day fishing trip where I'll be fucking hammered.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Incredibly jealous. What are you guys fishing?
I couldn't tell you, dude. I wrote, I'm probably not going to catch a fish, but I'm down to get drunk. No, we're going to Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
I wasn't listening 100%. Close. Nah.
We were going to go to the Poconos, but
that'll be fun. That'll be tight though. So main card opens up. Kevin Holland, Darren Stewart. Holland a -265 favorite right now. Darren Stewart plus 200. My first instinct before I even really dug into it was that's just too wide for me. That's too wide for me.
I part of me gets it, but the other part of me is taking it. I'll take the bait if that's what you want to call it here. I get that Holland, he's looked great, and it looks like he's putting it together. But
they're both on tears right now. But Stewart has won 4 straight. He hasn't lost a fight in 2 years.
But overall, Holland, like the questions about his overall ability have mostly been answered in his last couple fights. But his cardio has still you don't know yet. His gas tank is not proven.
Yeah,
and I really think that Stewart, his power is enough. And Holland likes to move his head around a lot. He's going to get caught. And the clinch work also, Stewart has the advantage. I think he's going to catch him.
Yeah. And
I'm taking Stewart.
Big advantage is going to be he's got a 7-inch reach advantage. So
he's getting a lot better with his kickboxing.
Definitely. So he's going to need to fight behind his jab. But I mean, Darren Stewart is a Taekwondo black belt and a Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. So he's no joke in the grappling, and he's no joke on the feet. So I think if Darren Stewart can use his kicks really effectively to maintain distance in this fight, I think that's probably going to be the key for him. If he can use his kicks to just kind of keep Holland at bay, and then if he can get inside and win these grappling exchanges, that's probably his path to victory here. But I kind of see it, man. And at 2-1, I'm willing to take that shot. I'll throw a unit at that, double it up real quick.
I'm on that, and I don't have the lineup yet for it, but
it's a quintessential dog or pass fight. I feel.
I will tweet it out. I'm gonna be taking Stewart inside distance.
I feel that.
I'm guessing it's gonna be like
if this fight was closer to a pick'em, I might be on Holland, but at this value, in my mind, this should not be. It just shouldn't be this wide of a line. I don't know. I feel like I guess we say that a lot, but I don't see Kevin Holland as being that much more proven or that much, technically more skilled than Darren Stewart is.
I just think Stewart's going to catch him. I really do. And he has more power. I think that's been proven. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a fun one. I think we have a 6-fight main card, which we haven't had in a while. And
yeah, that's nice.
Besides, we're going to talk about this next fight. I'm not too excited about it, but because I just think both of these next fighters are meh. But
you're not wrong.
But I will say this fight's going to be fun.
Yeah, no, this is going to be a fun one to get the main card started. But yeah, so we'll move on there. You got what we're both on. We'll tweet it all out beforehand, of course, also. But next fight, we got Mackenzie Dern, Randa Marcos. I tried to find some value here. I don't particularly love either fighter, but I think I found some. I think I found some value, Russell. We got the over 2.5 is minus. I just want to make sure I have it up again, right? Because for some reason one book had it and one didn't, which was very rude. Yeah, it's minus 125 over 2.5. But so we saw Mackenzie Dern lock up a leg lock on Hannah Cyphers in their last fight. Hannah Cyphers, who is becoming, unfortunately, the punching bag.
We've talked about her.
Poor Hannah Cyphers. Yeah,
too much, unfortunately.
Yeah, I won't keep rubbing her in the dirt, but I'm not really going to be impressed by a win over a fighter that's on a huge slide right now. And Randa Marcos, even though she isn't very impressive, I mean, she's been finished one time since 2014. One time. And she's only finished one fight since 2014.
Wait, what did you say the value was at the over?
Minus 125 over 2.5.
Wow, yeah. I think that's a
But yeah, I mean, we know the lighter weight classes, lighter female divisions don't tend to finish much anyway. The only real threat I see ending the fight here is Dern's jiu-jitsu, but Randa Marcos is very seasoned. She's been in there with some absolute killers, and she's went the distance with all of them at least. She's been one time in her career. I don't really see Dern being able to get her up out of there. I like the over here.
So I like that. I'll probably tail. It's not going to be one of my plays, but my play here, I'm taking Marcos. I think both of these fighters are just like super, like I said, very, very But the only thing
Dern is like they're trying to build Dern up right now, I think.
But I saw one thing that I just think this is kind of crazy. In 6 years in the UFC for Marcos, she's never won consecutive fights and she's never lost consecutive fights. And she's coming off a loss.
That's wild.
So that's enough for me to take her at the minus 170. It's a little extra juice, but I just don't think. I know, like maybe she gets a submission, but I don't think Dern's good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think when your only threat is your jiu-jitsu at this level, it's like people know that. You know what I mean? Like, and a really high level fighter can just stay on the feet. That's all she has to do.
And I did have written down here Marcos by decision, so I guess
we'll see when that comes out.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that would technically mean you're on the over, Ross.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the club.
But I don't have much to add to that.
I mean, hopefully it's always the fight that you're like least expecting the least from that delivers the most. So we'll probably get an absurd finish that makes us look like idiots. But
yeah, probably.
So it goes.
We still won't be like totally wrong because I think everything we're saying is what most people are thinking.
Yeah, and I hedged our bets there pretty well.
Fair.
We have now, whatever happens, it's like, well, that could happen. We've covered all of our bases. So yeah, we'll move on there. Next fight, man, I'm excited for. Yeah. I'm excited for Johnny Walker coming back. This is his first fight since last November, right?
Let me pull it up real quick. I don't know if it's been. I think he's fought a little more recently.
Or no, what? The event that I went to wasn't in fucking November. It was December, I think.
He fought in March.
Oh, he fought in March, right before the shutdown?
Yeah, the last card.
Gotcha.
And he lost the decision. That's actually the last. I was in a bar that day. It was right before shit fucking.
Yeah, I was on a bus back to New York.
But yeah, so he fought in March, lost by decision. He's coming out. It's 2 losses in a row for him.
Yeah, I got knocked the fuck out by Corey Anderson.
While Span's coming in 4 wins in a row.
Ryan Span's hot right now.
But
it's Ryan Span minus 105, Johnny minus 125 right now, or Span even minus 130. I've seen both.
Yeah, it's moving back and forth. I'm like, it's weird because up until about probably 15, maybe 20 minutes ago, I was pretty convinced I was taking Span. But that was really just because I didn't want to take Walker again. Like, I just think
the Johnny Walker experience.
Yeah, it's just been so rough. Like, he was supposed to win the last 2, and he just didn't.
He killed me at the card I went to.
Yeah, it was brutal. Like, he was like a max play for me on that card you were at, the Masvidal Diaz card.
Yeah.
He got slumped. But his defense has just been so bad his last 2 fights. I think there's a chance this fight isn't as fun as we think it might, like, as we're hoping for.
I can see that.
So he loves violence, and like that's his thing, and he's a great striker. And the thing is,
but being trigger happy is what gets him killed.
But the reason that I'm on him here is, I don't think Span is like good enough in any like aspect of his game to beat him. Like all of his other fights, these other guys have had advantage in spots and experience, and they were able to expose Walker. I don't think Span can do that. And the line is just too close for me to just say, oh, because I don't want to take Walker, I'm taking Span. So
yeah, no, that's definitely.
I'm taking Walker.
My
voice.
Awesome. My first instinct, my gut, was Span, but I looked into it a little bit more, and to be honest with you, man, this just feels like a classic reverse brain over for me. A classic reverse brain over. But like,
you're slowly becoming Harry Overs.
It's like sometimes, but it's.
I hate taking overs in fights, but when it's the bet, it's the bet.
Right, it's 1.5. It's minus 115. It's 115 on both sides. At least that's what I have it at right now. But like you said, I do kind of expect both guys to come out a little more technical and kind of look to really pick their spots. I wouldn't be surprised if the first round was a little bit boring and kind of a big feeling out process, and then we start seeing some more action in the second. And, the danger here is that these are 205ers. It's light heavyweight. Any strike can be the strike that ends the fight, when you're dealing with guys at this size and this skill level. But I'm not sure, man. I think that they can get through a round and a half. And there might still be a finish after that, but I think that they're gonna, like you said, Johnny, he's lost 2 fights in a row. He knows he needs to change something up. So I don't really think he's necessarily going to be looking to be the aggressor.
I don't think he's that afraid of Span's power, to be completely honest.
I'm not saying that he's afraid, but I just think like you just need to pick your spots.
Yeah, well, I get that. Part of me, like, I like where your head's at. I'm not going to take it. I do have like part of me thinks he's gonna finish him in the first, but I don't know.
They're 2 tough motherfuckers too.
I just think like the hype train got so derailed, and it was like I just think there's a reason that he did have hype, and I don't think Span's very good. I know he won 4 in a row. I forget the one fight. I'm blanking on who his opponent was. He was such a heavy favorite. And he like just coasted to like a decision win. It was so unimpressive. I think it was his most recent fight.
Alvey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like wasn't a super fun fight, but like that's kind of what I'm saying. We're like he's content to be technical.
Yeah,
also.
But Johnny Walker, he can put him out. He can.
I just don't. I don't see Johnny pushing the pace early. At least I see him at least trying to feel him out and get the range down and try and get the timing down.
I think you're right. I think halfway through the first, I think is where he turns it on and he starts to try to, because that is his game at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not a point fighter at the end of the day.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, like his style is violence.
Yeah. That's fair. It's not a bad way to put it.
So I don't know. I think he's gonna win. I'm not gonna these aren't gonna all be official plays because I don't want to get crushed. But I'm gonna take him inside distance and straight probably.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna go and listen back to this, and it's gonna be like, oh, Ross has a 16-play card.
Yeah, because I've been taking like 2 things on every fight already.
Yeah.
But that's realistically
the old Bart Simpson. I will not bet every fight 4 ways.
It's realistically what I'm gonna bet. I don't want to post 18 plays and go fucking down 18 units.
Friends of the pod only. We only win. Everyone knows that.
Straight winners. I gotta be honest. I'm seeing the board pretty fucking clear.
the board. She speaks to me.
Did I say it was the 6-fight main card?
Yeah, it is.
What fights are left?
Oh no, 7.
7.
Wait,
aren't we just missing Cowboy and Woodley?
No, 6. No, you're missing a very certain somebody, Ross.
Yeah, I don't have the card. I don't have the card up.
You're missing an alleged very somebody.
My God.
How could you miss that one, buddy?
Oh my God. Smoke more weed, turtle. Yeah, fuck that guy. Is he up?
Yeah, he's up. We got to talk about this guy now.
Hamzat.
Hamzat Chimaev, Dana's new toy, allegedly a terrorist. Allegedly. Yeah, allegedly supports ISIS, and then allegedly switched his allegiance to the Chechen dictator Kadyrov, who was responsible and is responsible for the genocide of lots of gay people in Chechnya. So that's good.
So he's fighting.
So he's in America fighting on a UFC card. How did he get a visa?
Because he's Dana's new toy.
I guess.
But
Dana said, "Hey, Donnie, do me a favor."
Yeah, let Hamzat in.
Yeah. Oh, he's fine. I vouch for him. He'll be good.
I just can't wait for him to lose, to be honest.
I want him to lose so bad. He's getting in there with Gerald Mearshart. They were talking shit today about Gerald's record and all that, but Gerald said it. He's, man, I'm a BJJ black belt, and when you fight at this level for as long as I have, you're gonna lose when you fight guys at this level. But it's not something Hamzat would know about.
I think that he's fought basically. He hasn't fought anyone near.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that the 2 guys Hamzat has fought in the UFC so far were 2 late step-in fighters who were just 2 absolute cans, if we're being honest. No disrespect to those guys, but
and also
they have no business in a UFC octagon.
And also, we should kind of give him some credit because they were 2 of the most dominant fights I've ever seen.
Yes, they were. I'm definitely letting my dislike of Hamzat, the human being, who also, for anybody who missed it, got into a fight with Kevin Holland at the hotel because he thought Kevin Holland worked at the hotel and asked him to clean his room, which is, I don't know, man. Feels a little racist to me, but
it might just be. But
yeah, I guess I'm not the arbiter of that. So whatever.
I'm just hoping that
noted bad person Hamzat Chimaev and Gerald Mearshart. I'm taking Gerald by sub. I think I saw it posted somewhere at plus 950. I'm taking it. I don't care. Hamzat's he's a jiu-jitsu blue belt. He has great wrestling, sure, but I don't think he's ever been in the octagon before with a guy with Gerald's jiu-jitsu.
He definitely has not. But he might just be realistically.
He might be that good.
Yeah, he might.
Many? We were just talking about it, with Johnny Walker. How many hype trains have we seen get derailed the past couple of years as big favorites too? Hooper, Sean O'Malley, Johnny Walker, all of these guys, man. The train stops. Menafield, all of these guys.
No, I agree, and I'm hoping.
And I can't take a guy with 2 career UFC fights. Yeah,
it's blood money if you bet him.
It is.
If you bet him, it's blood money.
Yeah, no, you're a bad person. You're a bad person if you do
bad
that.
Human being.
Allegedly
a bad human being.
No, he's a bad person. I can say that.
The funniest shit is that they posted a video of him giving a homeless person a fucking piece of chicken or something.
Oh yeah. Does this look like something a terrorist would do to you? I don't know. How stupid do people? I say how stupid do people think we are, but I know people are that stupid. So whatever.
I mean, because most people don't know. Most people don't know about this guy's history.
Yeah. Check it out on Twitter. I posted a little scooperooski today from the Chechen Human Rights Organization from a source there who was nice enough to talk to me and give me the time of day. But I'm pretty confident in saying I don't like that guy. But either way, Gerald is on the normal money line right now.
He's plus 360, I believe.
Plus 3.
Oh, plus
I have
300
300.
even.
Yeah, minus 400, plus 300. But yeah, like and no matter how good Hamzat looked in those first 2 fights, and like I'm sure I'm letting my bias shine through because like that's what I do.
He might just be that good.
Hate is fully steering the boat right now. Like my like, you know what I mean? The dislike part of my brain, that's the part that's like got the hand on the steering wheel. So I understand that, but I'm being open about that. It's the same as when we're open about being shilled. So as long as we're open about it, I feel like nobody can hold it against us, which is probably a flawed way to think. But
God, Joe Burrow just got fucking rocked. We're watching Bengals fucking Browns live.
But yeah, I just can't take a guy who's had 2 career UFC fights against 2 absolute cans at minus 400 over a seasoned vet like Gerald.
No, I
can't do
it. Like, what are you gonna do?
Goes against everything I believe in.
And what are you gonna do? Put 450 to 100?
That's what I'm saying. Is it
really worth it?
Yeah, just to like really sweat that out and like.
I mean, I guess you can take him whatever his inside distance line or whatever that's gonna be. It might be like 200. It's like minus 200. It's still gonna be fat.
Yeah, but you're also like fully Leo DiCaprio and Blood Diamond. If you
yeah. Like where do your morals lie? Let's test the people here. You bet Hamzat.
I think this is as hard as we've ever dug in on disliking a fighter because like everyone's a potential friend of the program, but
I wouldn't.
Not Hamzat.
Well, I'd interview him. I'd interview him for sure.
Well, I told you we talked about this. I would interview him under the circumstance that we were actually allowed to interview him and ask real questions. I wouldn't interview him if it was just like, yeah, you have to sit down and like do a puff piece and like ask him about like how awesome fighting is and blah blah blah. Like if I could ask him if I could sit down and be like, hey dude, you a terrorist? Like I would consider it. I'd consider it. I emailed Ali. I emailed his manager who like might show up and punch me in the belly. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I feel like this is not a good fight for us. But
no, probably not. But you know what? I've chosen a hill to die on.
Yeah.
And this is it. I'm okay dying on this hill. You know, I've died on way dumber and like way less. Not important isn't the right word, but you know what I mean. Way less real hills than this.
Yeah, fair. I mean, listen, I just want to see him lose, to be honest.
Me too.
That's where I'm at. I just really, really want to see this guy lose. I hope Gerald beats him. And
I hope he fucks up the Maya fight and fucks up all his plans.
Yeah, and the fact, we didn't even talk about that. The fact that they're already scheduling a Maya fight for like a couple weeks from now with this guy before he even wins is...
Damian Maia is a top 10 welterweight in the world. And yeah, to just like completely look past a very legit fighter like Gerald like that is like, I've never seen Dana do anything like that before, I feel like, honestly.
That's why I just hope he fucking loses. And I'm taking it. Obviously, I'm going to be on Gerald.
We're betting with our hearts, but I also feel like we gave some very fair analysis.
Yeah, no, I think there's
a reasonable
bias aside. I don't see like all right, like maybe he comes in and dominates, but I just don't like maybe you can. I
don't see him like ragdolling Gerald around like he did to those other two guys.
I don't really know like what.
Oh no, Ross.
What?
What's the over?
Oh, I thought I was lagging out. I was bugging out for a second.
No, you got very concerned.
Yeah.
No, I just, I got an idea. When I get an idea, I got to look.
I don't think I have the over yet.
Oh, do I not have it either? What the fuck?
Nah, I just have it straight.
No, I do have it. Oh, man. 1.5.
Wow.
Minus 105 on the over. I have to take it.
Yeah.
I have to take that.
Yeah.
I'm taking it.
Yeah.
There's no way that he comes in there.
There's definitely a way.
Yes, there is a way.
Yeah,
but I just
definitely a way.
I just don't see him coming in there and fucking ragdolling Gerald around like he did these last two guys whose names I unfortunately can't even remember.
I don't have it up in front of me. The last one was just brutal, but I think I forget. I'm actually forgetting now. Was it first round finish in the last one?
Both
the
of
TKO?
them.
Yeah. And he landed like 140 strikes or some fucking nonsense.
I think it was. He landed like 60 in one and like 90 in another or something. It was something stupid.
Dude, honestly, like, we're talking about all these like bad things about him, but like, think about it.
He's a monster in the octagon.
No. Like, but like, think about like if he had like if this dude like genuinely like fucks with ISIS, like he's probably like pretty scary in the octagon. Like, let's just be honest here. Like,
are you talking about the tactical advantages of being a terrorist?
No, I'm just talking about how much of a fucking like lunatic he is. Like,
I guess I see your point. I see.
Like,
your
dude,
point.
like he's scary at the end of the day. Like, he's a scary person, and he's a scary fighter, and he hurts people in there, and that's what he's there to smash.
And he's got a cleft palate.
Yeah, this guy fucking eats shit.
He eats fucking shit. That's what he does.
All right, whatever. Let's get to the fucking fights that there aren't terrorists in.
Yeah, we're getting mad. We're getting mad online. That's what we're doing.
We're also going long. The people are gonna fucking be like, why are we still listening to these fucking idiots?
It's okay. It's okay. We're good. We'll cut a little bit here and there. I'll do some choppy.
Choppy chop. All right.
But next fight is, I would say, the people's main event.
Yeah, I would agree.
We got Cowboy and Nico Price. Nico coming in -155, Cowboy +125. It's like really hard to not take Cowboy as a dog, but like personally, man, like I just don't trust his chin anymore. And Nico is so unorthodox, and like Cowboy is down to brawl, and Nico is going to want to brawl. And like if he gets drawn into that, like I just don't trust Cowboy's chin. So I'm gonna lay the juice with Nico -155.
I think it's fair, but I
love Cowboy. It's so hard.
I've just learned over like years of UFC and betting UFC that when Cowboy is plus money, you just take it, unless it's against McGregor. But like before that fight against McGregor, he was coming in like +150, +170. He was winning every single time. I agree with you. This fight is going to be a fucking brawl. But like you're saying, you're worried about his chin. His last fight against Anthony Pettis, his chin looked totally fine, and he ate some big shots. Like it's recency bias with the McGregor thing, but Conor McGregor's done that.
He's had a lot of fights. It's not necessarily recency bias. I love Cowboy, but there's a lot of miles on that body.
But his chin has never really been like an issue, and like the McGregor fight, like McGregor's done that to some of the best fighters ever, finish them quick. So like,
no, I say his chin, but I guess I also mean like he had the fight that got stopped. Who was he fighting when he blew out the nose and the eye blew up?
Yeah, that was bad.
He's just taken a lot of damage the last couple of years. You know what I mean?
He can inflict just as much, and
for sure. But Nico also has power. Like Nico has some power and throws some weird, unorthodox, crazy shit.
But I don't think Nico's he's got a lot of shit that he does, but I don't think he's like that good, to be honest. Like he's fun. He's fun. Like he is fun to fucking watch. But like technically speaking, like Cowboy might be able to piece him up. And if Cowboy can just consistently land that jab.
I think Cowboy is gonna get drawn into a brawl, and I think it's gonna cost him. That's how I see it.
They're both gonna be fucking. They both get cut and swollen so easily, also because of the fucking.
Yeah, just their whole faces are just scar tissue.
Yeah, just straight up scar tissue. So
it's the old Diaz brother face.
End of the first round, they're both gonna look like fucking swollen.
Yeah, no, this is like there will be blood. There will be blood.
If I can take that line at -10,000, I would just put 20 grand on it.
I love it.
Because there will be blood.
I've been saying, man, we need somebody to start making better MMA props. I would bet like takedown percentage, like takedown defense percentage, significant striking accuracy, like all that shit, dude. Like over under significant strikes attempted and landed. I would take all that shit.
Yeah, I just think the reason they don't do it is because they don't have you can't gauge that fight to fight. So there would be no way for them to make averages.
You can't people like all of those statistics are available for guys over their careers. Like,
100%, but a lot of these guys, some of their fights are 30 seconds, some of their fights are 2.5
no, of course,
rounds.
but I mean, you could say that about any sport. You know, it'd be a game where
Not
the total
really.
is like, what do you mean, dude? A game where the total's like 55 points and there's 20 points scored in the whole game.
Yeah, but no, but I'm
It
saying
happens all the time.
Yeah, but in football, like you have like every game's the same length. You know how many points teams score per game over a certain year. Like, you know what I mean?
Right, but if you have 10 career fights
numbers.
and somebody they do it by minute. Strikes per minute landed over your career. So if you have all those fights and you have all that data available, it's the same thing. Like, game plan changes a little bit, but it's the same in football. Game plan changes week to week. You feature the run, you feature the pass.
Right, but here's the thing. Like, you're taking, like, say you take strikes landed, like over under, and it's whatever the number is. Then the guy wins the fight in the first second by 1 strike. Like, you lose your over under if you take the over.
Yeah.
No, see, like, I don't think that would make any sense.
That's part of the game. It's electricity.
I like where your head's at with the props, but I don't know.
I'm telling you, I'm on another level, man. This is one of those $1 billion ideas that somebody's going to get.
Comparing
someone's going to get super.
Sports that all
someone's going to get so rich.
The same length every sport that you can like gauge over unders and props, like first quarter points. They can look at the NBA, they can look at the Sixers, they can go over the whole season, and they can get an average. Look at
finishing rates and shit. Like, that factors into how you make the line, how often a guy finishes and strikes per minute and shit.
Yeah. So all right. So
this is $1 billion idea.
What are you gonna?
What are you gonna? Billionaire.
What are you gonna make?
You're not allowed to have any.
Cowboys over under for strikes. Like, all right, where do you even start there?
Well,
because that means they have to guess what round he's gonna win in.
That
means they have to get like
strikes landed per minute. That's exactly
There's no way.
I would start. That's exactly where I would start. 4.35 for his combined UFC and welterweight career. He lands
what are you gonna do?
4.35 strikes a minute. So I would say you do 4.35 times 15. So let's see what that is. Let's do math. We're doing math, dude. We're doing fucking math.
It's like 60.
4.35 times 15, 65.25. That was close. And so then let's see what the over-under is. Let's see if Vegas thinks this is going the distance.
But that doesn't mean it.
Okay, so it's 1.5. So is it even juice on that?
See, I think you're.
No, I know what I'm doing.
You're like trying to make it so simple here, and you're good at trying to make yourself sound right. But I totally think this is bullshit.
It's plus 100 on the over, minus 130 on the under. So they think it's going to go under a little bit more. So we could do it like 60-40 then. So what's 60% then of the full fight?
Yeah, but that's
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. 40%. So times this by 0.4, 26.1. Let's set the line. Let's take a bet. Let's do it. This seems like the obvious idea here now.
But I'm not just going to take your, like, bullshit.
No, well, what side of it do you want? I'll give you whichever side you want.
I'll take the over, I guess. 26.1.
All right, bet.
All right.
We'll throw the usual unit on it. We'll put it on your tab.
Yeah.
Perfect. 26.1. It's on the record. Let's do this. This is interesting now.
Yeah, I'm down for it, but I still think like your whole system is flawed because.
So we'll call it 26.5. So if it's 26 or 27, there's no push.
No, 26.1. So it rounds down.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. 26.5. Whatever. It'll add a little extra juice to it. We just got done. I think that was like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was a tangent. But I like where we landed. I like where it took us.
Yeah, I still think your shit's off.
No,
here.
see, I'm interested. I'm going to be counting every significant strike. And then, by the way, we're going to go by the UFC official significant
It's going to be hilarious when he lands 30 strikes in the first round.
But significant strikes, remember.
Oh. Wow.
Significant strikes.
I was thinking strikes.
No, that's the whole thing. It's significant strikes.
All right, whatever.
And that's why I'm saying we'll go by whatever the U.S. They put up the official significant strikes at the end of the fight.
But so you're saying he lands 4.35 significant strikes per minute?
Correct. While absorbing 4.18 per minute for a striking differential of plus 0.17.
Significant or regular?
Significant.
All right, whatever.
I can see his regular per minute too.
Nah, I'm over it. I'm watching a KFC commercial now. I kind of want some chicken.
It's chicken.
All right.
I love that.
What do we got next? What do we got next?
Indeed. Next is the big caboose. Woodley Covington.
Yeah, I didn't even remember what fight we were talking about. I got so confused.
Jesus.
It's getting late.
Smoke more weed, dude.
It's getting late.
It is. But yeah, main event time. It's probably about 2 years too late, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. It happens. Listen, I feel like everyone knows about these guys. They're both incredible wrestlers. Tyron has the incredible overhand right. Colby's pressure is basically unmatched in the sport. Hopefully we get a great fight. My thinking is I told myself I would never take T Wood again after the last I think I said it after the Burns fight, and I think I said it again after No. There wasn't another fight after that. It was Usman and then Burns. He came back and lost.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But
no, what about yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. But as the way that I see it, if there is one fight that they could make on earth that Tyron Woodley is gonna get up for and like be T Wood again for and like be his old self that like was absolutely fucking dominant at welterweight for years, this is the fight. It's Colby brings the juice. These two genuinely fucking hate each other. I know that's like such an old tired trope, but like these two really don't fucking like each other, man.
No, it's genuine. Like, I think it's genuine hate at this point.
Yeah, it's disdain.
And I don't know. Like, I faded him on the last one. I was all over Burns. I don't know. I think like there's a pretty solid chance like Colby just ragdolls him, but
I think it'll be more like Colby Usman. I think it'll stay on the feet.
Well, if that's the case,
I don't think either wants to wrestle with the other. But Tyron has that right hand.
Nah, but I think Colby's down to wrestle. I don't think Woodley is gonna want to.
I think
honestly,
I don't know, man. I don't know about that.
That's what I don't think Colby is going to want to have to do the Usman fight again.
But I'm just saying, the last time we saw Colby fight somebody whose wrestling was equal or better than his, which I would say T Woods is.
I don't think so at this point, to be honest. Like Burns took him down. Burns took him down with ease.
I guess, but like Gilbert's also a very different. Like Gilbert's a very different fighter than Colby is. Like their takedowns are very different.
I get that, but I'm just saying, like,
I don't know.
Woodley's not Woodley.
But what if he is? Just for this fight.
He still has the hands. So I'm hoping
all he needs is that right. All he needs is that right. But I have to take
you're
T-Wood
correct.
Here. I spent this whole week talking myself back into T Wood. It's happening.
Yeah, it's for me.
Dogs are barking.
Yeah, I'm on Woodley. I am, but it's such a fat line. I don't know. I really don't know. I hope he wins, and I think he can catch Colby. And who knows what's up with his jaw?
That would be so awesome if Colby got his jaw broken again.
I don't even know if you break your jaw, like, are you more susceptible to breaking it again? Is that a thing?
I know with some bones they actually tend to heal back like stronger than when they originally broke. But I don't really. I can't say I have any knowledge of how that works with your jaw because I feel like that's so like. I don't know. You know what I mean? That's not like your femur. That's like a thick, like, I don't know. I think
I'm not sure.
Was it Dennis who was telling us that like everybody talks about how easy it is to break a nose, but I think Dennis was saying that it only takes like 2 more pounds of pressure to break your jaw than it does to break your nose.
I honestly, I'm not remembering right now, but I'm not sure. But
close enough.
Yeah, whatever. Regardless, I think I just think there's a chance Woodley can catch him. So I'm gonna take the puncher's chance with the odds.
Yeah, You got to do it. Got to do it. But I think that about wraps us up.
Yeah, I think we've dragged the people on long enough. I hope these bets hit because guess what? If they hit, you can't fucking bitch.
It's true.
And
lots of bitching.
The interview we had tonight was just
great fun.
Was just fucking hysterical.
Yeah, make sure you give John a follow. Let me pull up his Instagram.
And hopefully we didn't really talk after the interview, but do want to say like we're pulling for him. Hopefully he gets back in there like he said before year's end, and he's
AJ Agazarm. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah, don't be a bitch, dude.
Don't be a bitch, dude. Don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch.
Next Bellator press conference we will absolutely be trying to do some matchmaking of our own.
Yeah, we are the.
We do. We ride for our pals.
So hopefully he gets back in there soon. Like we said in the interview, he's 40, but he hasn't fought a lot. So who knows?
Yeah,
who knows what could happen?
Fight young. You never know, man.
He does smoke a lot of weed, so
weed is tight.
Weed is tight. But yeah, I got nothing else.
Yeah. Make sure you give John a follow. It's John Beneduce at Manimal John on Instagram. I think he's on Twitter also. Make sure you give us a follow at Harry__Mac, at Ross_Bullet, at Bookie's Basement. Make sure you check out Bryce Mitchell, homegrown fighter, Bookie's Basement, proud partner this past week. Thank you to Bryce and Matt Weibel and Kid Ron Cannon, his producers, his agent. And yeah, enjoy the violence, everybody. Have a good weekend.